you make the rocket world go round.
Always said we needed a competitive class-based combat strategy game like TF2 on the PSP, and I've even said a TF2 port would work. The cartoony graphics would make it suitable for the limited capable of a handheld game, and with the same classes intact, it would be the best game on the PSP. Fat Princess Fistful of Cake kind of fits the bill, but it's probably the best class-based game on the PlayStation Portable. This isn't saying much because it's the only class-based team game on the PlayStation Portable. It's also relatively new. What's weird is that it has all the makings of a great game. And by that, I mean it stole as much shit from other games as it possibly could. It's like they took a little piece of gameplay from the top 10 most overrated games of all time and then crammed it together for a super game. Look at the style and camera view. I haven't seen that anywhere else. How about that whole thing where you're a midget rescuing a princess and there may or may not be cake at the end? The team-based thing combined with the cartoony style streamlined for gay online play. Never seen that before. The resource-based crap. I mean, they took something from every genre. I mean, how could you screw this up? Then they give us an answer. Overhead view. Oh yes, thank you. Only the greatest multiplayer games in all of history have had an overhead view. We certainly can do a lot with that. Plus the limited field of view for all classes means that classes like the archer become completely useless. Which is even sadder because the archer was built as a sniper. Take enemies out at a long distance? Instead, 3 other classes get a similar ability, and one even pulls it off slightly better. Which brings me to the worker. With a game like this, you're going to want to give everybody who has different play styles something to do. But the worker probably does everything. He does it better than everybody else. He has an effective melee weapon and an effective ranged weapon, probably more effective than anybody else's ranged weapon. He can also upgrade buildings. Great, but essentially what you're doing with him is going to be hitting rocks and carrying them back to the buildings. I mean, it could be strategic, like start with a worker hat machine thing, and then the players could have enough resources to make one hat machine, and then they could go and gather resources to make more. You know, less of a who cares about the workers, I use the stock weapon anyway thing. Instead, everybody starts with the buildings for everything they want, and the workers just work for upgrades. But that's cool, because the workers can defend themselves better than anyone else. Probably the best thing about the worker is that the fact that he gets a ball and axe and some bombs. And the bombs are effective too. One game on single player, the enemy was grouping up and kicking ass, but the worker's upgraded bomb hat won the game for me. This could have been done a lot better if they had just panned the camera down so we could have like a 3D view of something, show off some of the PSP's more advanced graphics. But instead, what we have is a DS game. But on the other hand, the cartoony graphics work because they make the game feel complete, whereas an attempt at a more realistic graphics give almost every other PSP game a flawed feel. Like they couldn't complete it perfectly, so it runs slow or skips or the characters move unnaturally. The comical cartoon feel of Fat Princess really saves the game, combined with the fact that the classes are unbalanced and the characters handle like a quadruple amputee hippo steering Stephen Hawking's chair. The multiplayer is great, except it's voice chatless and it's nearly impossible to get the point across for any sort of teamwork. I mean, it's really hard to try communicating in charades with 4 directions and an attack button. For trying so hard, they came out with an alright game, which could have been a lot better considering all the crap they stole. I'm going to start it off at 10 and take a minus point for every point I listed. -1 for no voice chat, -1 for shitty camera view, and -1 for no communication in multiplayer. This leaves us with 7 out of 10, the score I'm giving this game. Thank you for watching.